Hi, I'm Rachel, and this is my 2025 BookTube Prize Finals TBR list. I actually said in my last video that I figured my next video would be my Am Reading July finale, but, the BookTube Prize Finals are open for about 2 months, and I should, get to reading, and I'll need to make this video first. So, the BookTube Prize was started in 2019 by Robert Sheard. It's a way for the literary bookternet to come together to judge the best in literary fiction and nonfiction published in the United States in English the year before. So here in 2025 we are reading 2024 releases. We start at the very beginning of the year with long lists of 48 books per division, and then through 4 rounds we whittle it down pretty much to where we are now. I guess we have one final thing to go, but we're down to the finals. So fiction and nonfiction have a ballot of 6 books apiece. We have 2 months now, judges, to read these books and to rank them. And then in early October, Robert will be announcing who we chose for the winners and the runners-up. So yeah, I guess we're pretty much at the end, well, nearing the end of a BookTube Prize year. I mean, I guess I should remind myself, we do have a couple of months of reading and, a big deadline still to get through. But yeah, I've been an official judge for the BookTube Prize since its 2nd year. It's been a wonderful way to expand my reading and talk to booktubers especially and other people about some of the buzzier books being published. I usually judge in 3 of the 4 rounds. I take off the semifinals, which was the last round, but now I'm back. And I'm so grateful to have a part in this. Something else I do, just for my own fun, is I keep stats. Because at the very beginning of the year, because technically the judging starts in February, but in January, Robert gives all judges the chance to create the long lists for the 2 divisions, or if you're only signing up for one of the divisions, you can, take part in creating the long list for that division. But I signed up to judge both divisions. And he sent us, these long lists of buzzy titles, and we're all allowed to pick 20 of them per division. And then, of course, all of the books, go through the rounds and are whittled down. So here's what happened for me, which is in January, I chose 20 books to come on to the fiction list and the nonfiction list. And I'll start with my nonfiction stats. 15 of the books that I voted for made it onto the long list. Then after the octafinals, 9 books remained. After the quarterfinals, we were down to 6 books. And finally, after the semifinals and going into the finals, there are 2 books still in the running. For fiction, I think I did less well, especially to begin with. Only 11 of the 20 books I voted for made it onto the long list. After the octafinals, we were down to 8. After the quarterfinals, we were down to 4. And now, going into the finals, we're down to 2. I guess that's like, I'm kind of having my own list every time of books I want to read. So for both of these divisions, there's 2 books I personally voted for that are going on to the finals, that we're going to be judging, that have made it to, this very impressive round. When it comes to fiction, the 2 books that I voted for that are remaining are There Are Rivers in the Sky by Elif Shafak, which I read for the octafinals and I really loved. But I kind of think that the book that's going to win overall, and that I also ultimately want to read, is James by Percival Everett. I guess we'll see how that goes. Then, when it comes to nonfiction, I'll just shout out 2 books that were in the semifinals that didn't make it. I think I would have loved to read them. There's Cue the Sun by Emily Nussbaum, because it's cultural history of her reality TV habits. I thought that'd be fun. And then there's Shakespeare by Judi Dench, which talks about how Shakespeare has informed a lot of, the production she's been in as an actress, and she'd probably talk a bit about her thoughts on Shakespeare, so that also would have been fun to read. But those are not the books in the ballot that I will be reading, which I will be reading nonfiction for the finals ballot. These 6 books that I'll talk about now briefly will be. Actually, before I talk about them, I'm just going to go tease the covers. Okay, so here are my preliminary thoughts. I've actually read one of these books before for the quarterfinals, meaning I only have to read 5 books for the finals, which is exciting because of deadlines and having to meet them and everything. But I read Undue Burden by Shefali Luthra. This is a reportage that she did about the implications of the United States losing Roe versus Wade, and also, state by state, there were some states that were, whittling down, access to that health care as much as they could. And so she talked to care providers and so forth in several states, and she also found case studies of people who in recent times have had trouble finding access to abortion. I put this around the middle of my personal ballot for the quarterfinals. I thought that, it was an impressive reportage, although in a way it didn't necessarily do anything, unusual for a book like this. Overall, I do think that this was a strong book. The next 5 books I haven't read yet, so these are, preliminary thoughts. Who knows how right or wrong I am about them. So first we have Slow Noodles by Chantha Nguyen. This is the memoir of the list. I'm mostly thinking of it as a Cambodian food memoir. And I think I have to be careful with memoirs because I am predominantly a fiction reader, and memoirs are the closest to fiction. And so it could be that I predominantly gravitate toward this with some bias, although, some memoirs are better than others. We'll see about this one. Then we have Everyone Who Is Gone Is Here by Jonathan Blitzer. And this is about Central American migrants to the U.S. It's a very important topic, and one that's certainly in the news and kind of under siege a lot due to recent, administrative policies and crackdowns of the community that live in the U.S. So it'll be, I think, really moving and important to, to get into, more of those reportage case studies, kind of similar, to Undue Burden. Then, speaking of a siege, we have The Siege by Ben McIntyre, which is about the 6-day takeover in the 1980s of the Iranian embassy in London. So we're going to get into politics and maybe into a little bit of, that tension and high-octane stuff even. We'll have to see how this book is put together. Then we have The Challenger by Adam Higginbotham, which is, I think, the closest we're getting to a science book. Maybe it's actually going to be very scientific because it is about the shuttle disaster, again, from the 80s. And I guess if we want to go into understanding what happened, we're going to have to learn a bit about some science. And, this is something, obviously, I've known about, pretty much all my life because it happened when I was very young. So it will be really informative and intriguing to get more details on it. And then finally, we have the book I voted for to make it onto the long list, although part of me wonders why, because it's going to be a very depressing book, but a very important one too. That's The Barn by Wright Thompson, which, ultimately, I mean, there's a lot of sort of language around it about, covering a murder in Mississippi, but I think, it's ultimately about the death of Emmett Till. It's going to, I'm sure, cover, systemic racism in the U.S., and hopefully, I'm certainly hoping to get also a better insight into his life and the experiences that he had when he was alive, and of course the aftermath of what happened to his family and, to his killers. So yeah, a lot of hard-hitting subjects, but I think in a nice variety, a diversity of areas, and a diversity of types of books, because we have some history and politics and science, and then also memoir. So yeah, I think this is going to give me a really meaty selection. But otherwise, I'm going to have to zip my lips now, because as an official judge, I'm not allowed to talk about these books for the next 2 months. Because we're not supposed to be, influencing each other as we start to rank our ballots. So that about covers it for me now. I will leave the Goodreads links for all of these books listed down below, and I guess I could technically leave my review for Undue Burden because, that is how, the algorithm rolled for me, that I was able to read and review that book a little earlier in the BookTube prize. And now expect me back here on this channel, hopefully in the near future, with my July finale and reading wrap-up. Otherwise, I'm diving forward into another month or two of reading. Good luck to all of my fellow BookTube prize judges. Thank you for going on this journey with me, another year of reading and discussing a lot of fascinating books. And thank you so much to Robert for, continuing to keep the lights on for all of us. I'll also, of course, have a link to the BookTube prize page down below as well. And in the meantime, thanks so much to everyone for watching, and I'll see you next time.